Hey everyone, and welcome to our Clips and Highlights channel. If you want to keep up with everything Kyle and I have going on, make sure you subscribe to the main Grinding Gear YouTube channel, which is where we actually do these streams. That's right, we stream right here on YouTube. Oh, and sub to the Grinding Gear podcast. Apple, Google, Spotify, really any podcast platform. We're probably there. Thanks.
Yeah, while we were gone, we were barely on our phones. I came back to so many Discord DMs. I am so sorry if I missed it. We were traveling. It's very difficult to stay on top of things. But I say that to let you know how much the rumblings of what we were about to talk about made it through even my busy barrier, my barrier of busyness. There was an update to Square Enix's board of directors. If you're out of the loop on Final Fantasy XIV, the head of the game Final Fantasy XIV, the developer known as Yoshi P, was on Square Enix's board of directors. And there was a press release that went out, and there's been a change on the board of directors, and Yoshi P is no longer on the board of directors. And I believe people cared because if you read this information on social media and for some reason clicked on the comments below, which why would you ever do that to yourself? But you would see tons of disturbed individuals cheering for what they saw as the firing of someone responsible for something that they don't like.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Which is sadly becoming commonplace in gaming culture. Been a lot of layoffs in the gaming industry lately, and there have been culture warriors in the comments cheering for people losing their jobs, which I think is disgusting, bordering on mentally unhinged. I think that's really awful, and I think you're a garbage person if you're cheering for that.
Continue. Yes.
Yes. And so that's why I believe that there was any like emotional investment in this news, because as is so often the case, the actual news is horribly dull and boring. So, yeah. So, all right, Kyle, are you ready for facts instead of emotional?
Give me facts.
Instead of emotional reaction.
Give me straight facts, Doc.
Who can't stand games that aren't just jiggly physics in your face at all times.
What?
All right.
What?
I'm giving you facts instead of people who are angry because they just need everything to be porn.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, because their sense of arousal is so integral to their distraction.
Yes, enjoyment of anything, apparently. Yes, of course.
I don't want to be horny anymore. I just wish to be happy.
Exactly. So, I would like to recommend everyone go and read a Games Radar article about this, because there's a piece by Ashley Barden titled Final Fantasy XIV's Yoshi P quietly removed from Square Enix's board after years of wanting out. Quote, "It's much more fun to just make games." That's the long title. Quite a long title. It almost looks like an Amazon listing, but I think Barden has my favorite piece that I've read out there, because there's a lot of facts in it, and they got a follow-up statement from Square Enix, which I didn't see any other news coverage of this that actually got a response by Square Enix. So go check that out. It's on Games Radar. Games Radar got an update statement from Square Enix confirming that Yoshida-san will resign after general shareholders meetings and the board of directors meeting, both of which are scheduled for May. That's a direct response from Square Enix. Games Radar went on to write that until then, he will continue to serve on the board of directors. After, he'll maintain his position as an executive officer and will also join the executive management committee, which I believe is a new committee starting April 1st, or at least a new appointment for Yoshi P. Also, I guess when this first broke, there was a lot of misreporting that he was no longer the producer of Final Fantasy XIV, which is inaccurate.
Oh, yeah.
His position within Final Fantasy XIV isn't changing at all.
Oh, I didn't see that at all. Okay, that's jumping the gun a bit.
I went digging. I went to go to the subreddit, which I was cautious because I assumed there'd be a lot of a lot of nonsense over there. But both 14 subreddits that I went to, which is the main Final Fantasy 14 subreddit and the Final Fantasy 14 discussion subreddit, I got to give them props. I shit on Reddit all the time. We had some really bad experiences with Reddit in the early days of us creating content. The two most upvoted threads that had the most comments that I found were really even keel in the comments below. And that's where I found this. I guess one of the first posts to hit the Final Fantasy 14 subreddit had worded it in a way that made it sound like Yoshi P was no longer working on Final Fantasy 14. And so the comments in there were like, yeah, that's maybe adjust the wording there. And then there were updates, and they self-policed, I think, really well.
Nice.
Good job, y'all.
All right.
You're chipping away at my extremely negative opinion of that platform. But yeah, no, I got to give them props because it helped me kind of very quickly gauge the history of what we missed when this news broke earlier last week. So yeah. And then this is just, again, this is a good piece. I think you should go read the Games Radar piece because they also mentioned that in a 2023 interview, Yoshi P mentioned wanting to quit the board, but it inevitably did not. And a lot of this comes out of an official executive structure press release that Square put out on February 27th that you can just go read yourself right now, which mentions that the board of directors was cut in half. It looks like it's going from 8 members down to 4. So for folks who are like culture warring this, is like, yeah, Don Trill bad, Yoshi P deserves this. It's like, it also just seems like, well, what about the other people that are on the board?
Also making a new executive management position where the executive managers can manage sounds pretty good when it's not tied directly to the board, but I am not a corporate person. And this all just seems like shuffling to keep it fresh. Changing out the logo at McDonald's, you know, we got to curve that M a little more because it's, I don't know, because a year passed. People need something new.
Yeah. And Malagor and others are pointing out in chat, and I agree with this take. It does just seem to be very straightforward, extremely dull corporate restructuring. There's a new CEO in town. Take the pieces, move them around. This is me being a bit cynical here. Make changes to justify your existence as CEO.
Yeah, make a bunch of changes, and then when you change jobs in 3 years, you can say you made all these fabulous changes because whatever success was yours, and you don't have to own it if it was bad because, hey, you're just going to get hired by the next company anyway. So, woo, nice restructure, bro.
What are you going to do? Come in and keep everything the same?
That'd be lame.
How will people think that you should be there?
You must reorganize.
You must make changes. That's usually how I kind of look at these things.
Are you really a parent-in-law if you don't reorganize their kitchen while you're over?
This is why I love my parents. They don't touch anything in my kitchen. It's great.
Exactly,
it's wonderful.
Exactly. But they're not management materials. Yeah.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. You take that back.
That won't go big on the board next week. The report will not like that.
I'm going to tell my parents. There's
no upward momentum in the Weinzerl house. Executive mother and father.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. I also just want to give a shout out to a comment over on the FF14 discussion subreddit from Baby Electronic that wrote, FF14 is doomed. Yoshi P fired from his position. Insert picture of Cat Girl pointing at a sad Yoshida PNG with a shocked expression.
Oh my goodness.
Also to our clips editor, who will probably put this on the clips channel, could you make that thumbnail like to a T? Could you make that the thumbnail for this clip? Like, I would find that very amusing.
Man, I would be so exhausted if everything I said was taken so literally. I feel for the man in that way. Like, just at one time, he's like, I really do prefer orange juice in the morning. And then he has to have orange juice every morning for the rest of his life. Like, a lot of people are saying that he never wanted to be there. He just wants to make games. I think that's true. But also, it must be exhausting to have something you said once lorded over you. So congratulations to Yoshi P for being off that board. But also, it probably wasn't that big of a deal. And nothing's really changed because he's got to do this new thing, which is probably the exact same.
It boggles the mind that anyone would begin to care in this way about the corporate structure of the parent company of the game that you play. It's very weird. And it's like drama for the sake of drama from randos on the internet with an axe to grind. And it's very exhausting. I don't want to look up these facts. I don't want to look this up. This is boring. This is boring to look facts. Up. Even more boring to read and disappointing to find out why anyone cared in the first place.
Yeah, it's pretty lame. It's lame news.
As your two internet dads, we are disappointed in you, internet. Be better. Stop cheering for people losing their jobs, which in this case is just factually incorrect.
Yeah.
This man is still gainfully employed.
Organization.
Rethink your life if you cheer for people losing jobs.
No,
I'm so tired. I'm so tired of the state of the world, dude.
Well, at least we'll have high rank together. And at some point, Iceborne, because I'm still really enjoing World.
World is great, man. Yeah. I want to, and right now, I can just go and do the thing that I want to do, which is just hunt. So, like World is calling me.